What up, Clipper Nation? 119 straight days of Clippers talk. We're going streaking. Clippers in Charlotte taking on the Hornets. Tip-off just about 6 minutes away. I'm Adam Moslin. On the show, we'll have La Murray. Of course, Carlo Jimenez will be here as well. And hopefully, a Clippers victory. They need it. Win the next two in Charlotte, in Toronto on Sunday. Come back home, face the Lakers on Tuesday. That's what we want to see. Oh, yeah, beat them too. If you guys haven't checked it out, I do have a new Spotify feed for some of the YouTube content. It is called Clippers Talk OT, as in overtime. Where I'm putting everything from the YouTube side on now because some people complain about that and they just want to listen to the audio, and I get it. So Clippers Talk OT is where you can find all these YouTube episodes and all the extra stuff in audio form. Got it? Good. Pregame show starts in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. You can see Carlo's ready. You guys want to see what I'm talking about? Watch this real quick, real quick. Oh, did you see that? Did you see it? Who was he talking to? Who was he talking to? Check, check. Check. All right, we're good. Just making sure. Who will say first? First is the question here. Daniel, we good with a little sound?
Yep.
Thank you.
You going interview first, or you going highlight first?
Always highlights. Show starts in about 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Early game. Those on the West Coast. Bit of an adjustment. Welcome in, Adam. I'm on Lamarex's show, apparently. Welcome in, You're first to say something. I was worried the chat wasn't working there for a second. All right. Overtime. Yes, Clippers Talk OT. That is the new podcast feed where I'll post all of the YouTube shows. So if you just want to hear the audio side, there you go. That's simple. It's been requested a few times. I figure I will acquiesce. She'll start in about 1 minute.
All right, looking at about 45.
All right, guys. Here we go.
This is the LA Clippers Audio Network. You're listening to Clippers Countdown.
Zubac gets up and hammers it home.
Your pregame look at everything Clippers.
Welcome into Clippers Countdown as your 27-20 LA Clippers are in Game 3 of this 4-game roadie. They're in Charlotte facing the 12-32 Hornets and LaMelo Ball, who looks to be aiming to be the modern-day Pete Maravich with his flashy play. He's averaging 28 points per game, and he leads the league in shot attempts at 23 per game. But speaking of that number 23, there's a guy on the Clippers that reminds us of the most famous player to ever wear that number with his mid-range mastery. I'm talking about Kawhi Leonard.
Leonard in between the circles. You hear the boos from the Spurs fan. Drives down the right alley, stops, double team, fades, baseline jumper isn't. Kawhi Leonard silences the boos with a bucket. Leonard left wing, dribbles down the right alley, stops, pops a right elbow jumper, and drops it in. Kawhi Leonard with a team high 14. Leonard baseline jumper turns and hits. Leonard on the left wing, chests it, looks for a friend, puts it on the floor, steps back to left wing three. Cash! Kawhi Leonard knocks down the triple. 19 for Kawhi and Norm. Both of them have 7 in the quarter. Leonard free throw line jumper, lasers it in. Kawhi's got 21, and he cannot miss.
Kawhi at his season high in just his 9th game was 27 points back in San Antonio, and the Clippers would win 128-116 over the Spurs. Here was Coach Lou postgame on what he liked most in the victory.
How we were up big and they came back, took the lead, I think 105-104, and just to keep our composure and staying together and then fighting through it and then coming back and, like I said, winning the game. So, we talked about just having mental toughness, like when things get hard, pull together and do hard stuff, to get back in the game. And like I said, we had we was up, 16? They came back, took the lead by 1, and then we kept our composure, came back and put together a nice run.
Clippers will be looking to do the same in Charlotte. Tip time between the Clippers and Hornets from Spectrum Center is just about 58 minutes away. Coming up here in your pregame show, we'll have assistant coach Brian Shaw on, plus La Murray of The Athletic. But up next, it's your radio voice of the Clippers and Carlo Jimenez. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Charlotte taking on the Hornets. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Countdown, the official pregame show of your Los Angeles Clippers. Still to come, you're going to hear from assistant coach B. Shaw, but joining us now is Carlo Jimenez from Charlotte, your radio voice of the Clippers. Carlo, what's good? Not the microphone working, I see.
Oh, here we go. You got me? Yeah, you got me. Yeah, you got me. I'm good. I'm hanging out here in Charlotte. You know what? We got a great view in Buzz City, and we are in our fourth and final time zone of these 4 games in 4 different time zones. So I'm completely adjusted to East Coast time. Don't ask me about Monday night when we fly back to Charlotte, but I'm good for now.
All right, let's talk about this Clippers team and go through some particulars. All-star voting with the reserves came out yesterday. Yeah. James Harden will be representing the Clippers in the All-Star game in San Francisco. No Norman Powell, though. No Ivica Zubac. How did you feel about the overall voting structure there, Carlo?
I'm glad the Clippers got somebody in. I felt like James Harden was very much deserving. I mean, this is a team that a lot of people felt like wasn't going to even be in the playoff picture at this point in this season. And the Clippers have been a top 6 seed for most of the last 20 games. And a big reason why is because James Harden, we've talked about it time and time again, but he is the straw that stirs the drink for the Clippers. He makes sure everybody's in the right position. He's elevated the play of a lot of guys around him. And he has been able to do all of this while being effective on the offensive end. And I know people will point to the shooting numbers, but like you point out, Adam, he's shooting 10% better this season with Kawhi Leonard out there from the three-point line. So if you want to point to anything, he has been much better with Kawhi on the floor. Now, obviously, I'm bummed that Norman Powell did not get an all-star selection. I would imagine, should there be an injury, which we hope there isn't an injury, but should that happen, which is often the case with these all-star selections, Norman Powell is called up and called into the all-star voting. Super bummed for him. Felt like he gave a complete effort, really vied to be somebody who could be an all-star, putting a lot of work in the media. Didn't go his way. I think for Norman Powell, though, it's more motivation. I mean, he continues to talk about how he's had a chip on his shoulder his entire career. Even this season, felt like he was disrespected when people were saying, well, he could be the oldest guy to average 20 for the first time in his career. He will use this as fuel. He also, due to that Jalen Johnson injury, Adam, is now leading the league in odds for most improved player. I think this becomes another fueling point for him to possibly earn a most improved player selection. Bummed to see Norman Powell not involved, and of course, Ivica Zubac, who I think, Adam, if Big Zoo had a season like he's had now under his belt, and then was having this season this year, would be much more in the conversation. But with the logjam that is the All-Star game, I mean, the fact that we only picked 12 guys is kind of unbelievable, but that is the rule as of now. Big Zoo probably doesn't care too much. He can go on vacation somewhere else, but I think Clipper faithful would love to see him represented.
Yeah, we know both those guys have been playing at an all-star level, at least here in Clipper Nation, including the last game where they won 128-116 in San Antonio over the Spurs on Wednesday night. Big Zoo with 21 and 22 points. Norman Powell with 27. Kawhi Leonard also had his season high of 27 points, just his 9th game so far. That Kawhi looked very good out there, extra aggressive against his former squad in the San Antonio Spurs. I know he downplayed that being a factor post-game, but just seemed like Kawhi Leonard getting those minutes in the fourth quarter, distributed beautifully by Coach Lue, made a huge difference down the stretch.
It did. I mean, Ty, talk about somebody who's able to really feel out a game at an elite level. He understands that, look, after San Antonio comes back, after they were down 16, there's going to be a close game late. I don't want to use Kawhi Leonard early in the fourth quarter. Felt like, Adam, if that game was closer and the Clippers didn't go on that 20-3 run, we might have seen Kawhi to finish the game against San Antonio. He had a couple minutes left on the ticker, but so fun to watch a Clipper team that has their closing unit out there just obliterate an opponent. And I know San Antonio is a sub-500 team. The Clippers have dominated teams under 500, but you see the process. And we've talked about this in my entire time with you, Adam. Process matters. How you continue to build habits matters. And the Clippers showed good habits in that game with those final 5 and Harden, Norm, Kawhi, Derek, and Ivica Zubac. And it was fun to see them dominate down the stretch. Really felt like they put that game away and turned their focus now here to Charlotte.
Yeah, I love what Coach Lue said post-game, talking about keeping that composure. They were poised even when they led by 16. Then they were down by 1 very quickly. they immediately stepped back on the gas and were able to put San Antonio away. Clippers win that one by 12. It helps with Ivica Zubac having 21 and 22, another 20-20 game from him, plus 9 offensive rebounds. And really, he got the best of Victor Wembanyama in that one, Carlo.
He did. Ivica Zubac once again just able to dominate a matchup. There's 3 all-star bigs in AD, Wemby, and
Triple J.
Triple J, and Ivica Zubac gave every single one of them almost 20 and 20. I mean, just ridiculous stuff for Ivica Zubac. You want to make an argument for an all-star game? Give me the head-to-head. Give me the tiebreaker. Ivica Zubac has won the tiebreaker against all those guys in the win column and statistically. I mean, his ability, Adam, I think this team is going to be attacking downhill a lot more as the season goes on because Ivica Zubac cleans up every layup at the rim. I mean, he had more offensive rebounds than the Spurs as a team. He finished with 9 in that game. Ivica Zubac plays at an elite level. We know that. But when he plays at that elite level against those big-time bigs, you just put a smile on your face because there's a lot of Clipper fans who've been screaming from the hilltop, Ivica Zubac is a top 10 center. He's a top 10 center. And the casuals around the NBA who do not watch night in and night out will tell you there's no way. Ivica who? Yeah, now you know. Ivica Zubac is a top 10 center. There's no doubt about it with the numbers he is putting up this year. And there's just no argument that he is somebody who, when the Clippers make a playoff run come April, Ivica Zubac, his name will be vaulted to that national stage. I know Clipper Nation wants to see it happen now, but I think it's going to take a playoff series in which he's averaging 20 and 15 where everyone's going to realize, oh, we are sleeping on Big Zoo.
Ivica Zubac truthers, pat yourself on the back. You were right all along about Big Zoo. I think something that's been a little bit underrated about James Harden, besides just what he's been able to do on the court, but off the court, the leadership's been so strong. Going back to the mini camp he held with the players, a private one in Arizona before the season started. But then at the half, he had 6 turnovers against San Antonio. He apologized to the team afterwards for being sloppy with the basketball at the half, actually, and then comes out in the second half, has 0 turnovers. And then we hear earlier today that he made sure to text Norman Powell after he saw that he didn't end up being an all-star, just encouraging him, telling him, keep your head up. We know what you've done for this team. I love what James Harden has done from a leadership perspective this season.
It speaks to his ability to be the ultimate floor raiser. I mean, you think about it, throughout his career, he continues to be able to help teams reach the playoffs. He has not missed a playoff series in his career. And he understands that that extends beyond the play on the court, that you have to be a leader off the court as well. And Harden's ability to just reach out and be there for everybody, to always take accountability. I mean, we talk about how culture is set and how the Clippers have a great culture. And that starts with your point guard for a lot of teams, or at least the guy who has the ball in their hand the majority of the time. And James Harden is that player. You know, Kawhi Leonard might be the most talented player on this team, Adam, but James Harden is the player who runs the ship for the Clippers, and he continues to be able to help them off the court and on the court, be a leader with his play and setting an example. It's just so excellent to watch James Harden reach out to somebody like Norman Powell. I'm sure, Adam, the Clippers will draw the first play up tonight for Norm, as they do almost every game, and get him back in rhythm. But I was so happy to see the amount of Twitter comments and likes that said, wow, my perspective of James Harden has completely shifted this year. Because I think this is who he is. I mean, and he doesn't flaunt that. He never really made a push for him for All-Star, for himself for All-Star, right? And yet he gets an All-Star selection. He's somebody who lets the work speak, and it's great to see his ability and showing how that extends beyond the court.
Yeah, and the engine on the court, that All-Star ballot punch for him, well-deserved. Congratulations to James Harden. Clippers in Charlotte taking on the Hornets. Tip-off just about 48 minutes away. Carlo Jimenez is on the call, and up next, he's got his one-on-one interview with assistant coach Brian Shaw. You're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers Far East side right now. They're taking on the Charlotte Hornets. Tip-off is just about 44 minutes away. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Oslin. This is Clippers Countdown. Still to come, we're going back in time in Clippers Rewind. But first, we got to head back over to your radio voice of the Clippers in Carlo Jimenez.
Thanks, Adam. Here with assistant coach Brian Shaw before the Clippers take on the Charlotte Hornets. Coach, team went on a 20-3 run in that fourth quarter to kind of close the deal. What did you like the most about how you guys were able to finish?
We finally showed a little killer instinct. You know, we didn't fool around, let the team hang around. Real decisive in our actions offensively, continue to fly around defensively and make timely plays. And so hopefully that shows a little growth with our team.
Zoo has now had nearly 20 games against Jaren Jackson Jr., Anthony Davis, Wemby in the last game. How does he elevate his play against those elite bigs?
Zoo's playing with a lot of confidence right now, and I think he's started to figure some things out. You know, one being that he's usually the biggest guy out there on the floor, and so we've been waiting for a while for him to kind of have that big bully mentality. But he's just making the effort to go to the boards, whereas in the past he didn't really always, attack the offensive boards in particular. Defensively, it seems like almost every time the ball comes off, he's the one that's grabbing the rebound. And then just confident. He has a lot more confidence offensively because we play through him at times when James isn't in the game, or, if we're not featuring Kawhi, we go through Zoo. And so I think that's really helped his confidence a lot.
To start the season, this is a team that didn't shoot a lot of layups per game. But now with Kawhi, you have more spacing. Obviously, Zoo's one of the best offensive rebounders. Do you think that's a part of this team that will continue to grow as Kawhi continues to get more minutes?
Yeah, definitely, because, as an opposing team, you have to pick your poison. And, and that is, do you want to send two bodies at Kawhi? A lot of times, they're super aggressive on James as well. And he has the ability to bring two guys to the ball, which opens it up for everybody else to cut and slash. And if we can swing the ball ahead of the defensive rotations, we get open shots. And so now just getting our guys to have the confidence when it comes to take the shot, and then read situations when it's time to cut. So we're starting to slowly but surely put it together.
Last one for you, Coach, but James is selected for an All-Star for the 11th time in his career. What have you enjoyed most about coaching him?
Well, one, that he plays pretty much every night. He loves to compete. He works every day in practice, and that's what you want to see from the leaders on your team, especially if you have a lot of young guys on the team, so they can kind of follow that blueprint. But a lot of people didn't expect for our team to be in a position that we're in, especially with as many games as Kawhi's missed. And it's a testament to James to be able to not only get himself off in the games, but make it easier and set the table for everybody else.
All right, thank you so much. Best of luck.
Thank you.
There was Brian Shaw. Pregame with Carlo Jimenez. Tip-off in Charlotte. Clippers taking on the Hornets is just about 41 minutes away. Coming up next, we're going back in time in Clippers Rewind right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers and Hornets from Charlotte. Tip-off 38 minutes away here on Clippers Countdown. Coming up, we'll get your player to watch. But first, we're going to go back in time in Clippers Rewind and take things back to February 5th of 2019, just about 6 years ago. The Lego Movie 2, the second one, was at the top of the box office. 7 Rings by Ariana Grande was at the top of the Billboard 100 charts. And the Clippers were having their second of 3 20-point comebacks in a week, capped off by this shot from Tobias Harris against the Hornets.
Lou Williams, right-handed hip-high dribble, momentarily doubled, evades it, finds Tobias up top with 7 to shoot. He goes to the foul circle, the foul line, the running right-hander in the air for the lead. He put it in. Yes, sir. 117 to 115. Tobias Harris with 34. Timeout, Charlotte. 4 seconds to play.
Tobias Harris with that game winner. That would complete the 20-point comeback in Charlotte. It would eventually win 117 to 115. It was also the last shot Tobias Harris would take and make as a member of your Los Angeles Clippers. He was traded later that night to the 76ers for Wilson Chandler, Mike Muscala, Landry Shamet, 2 first-round picks, and 2 seconds. Of course, Muscala eventually turned into Ivica Zubac and Shamet into Luke Kennard. Now Luke Kennard with the Memphis Grizzlies. Celebrate Toby a little bit. The Toby Bobby show was fun. I always remember that game winner he had against the Hornets. Tonight, Clippers, Hornets from Charlotte. Tip-off just about 37 minutes away. And up next, we'll get to your player to watch right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Spider-Man, Clippers in Charlotte taking on the Hornets. Tip-off is just 33 minutes away. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Moslem. This is Clippers Countdown, the official pregame show of your Los Angeles Clippers. Still to come, we'll get your injury report, and Lyle Murray from The Athletic will be here. But first,
this is LA Clippers basketball.
Watching this guy play right now is really something.
Players to watch.
Hell hath no fury like a player snubbed from the All-Star game. I'm watching Norman Powell in this one. He's coming off having 27 against San Antonio, 23 against Phoenix, 33 against Milwaukee. I mean, he's averaging 24 points per game. He is leading the team in points per game while shooting almost 44% from the outside. That would be, about 8% better than J-Dub, Jalen Williams. No disrespect. He's a worthy All-Star, but I think Norman Powell had a case to be named an All-Star reserve over Jalen Williams. And I think he's going to make the case that he's one of the top 24 players in the league this season. That's what the All-Star game is supposed to be. It's the 2025 All-Star game. It should have to do with what you do during the 2024-2025 season. And there haven't been 23 players or 24 players better than Norman Powell so far this year. I think he's going to come out with a little hot fire in the belly, and he's going to show everyone why he should have been picked and why last season he should have been picked for the three-point contest, which would have helped build momentum for him being an All-Star this season. Maybe he'll still get in there. Maybe he'll still be an All-Star. There are injury reserves. We'll see what happens. But right now, I got Norman Powell as my player to watch in Charlotte. Tip-off between the Clippers and Hornets is just 31 minutes away, and up next, your injury report. I'm Adam Oslands, and you're listening to Clippers Countdown right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Charlotte taking on the Hornets. Tip-off 28 minutes away. Up next, we'll get to La Murray of The Athletic. But first, your injury report brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code KLAC to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. For the Hornets, they're going to be without quite a few players in this one, including LaMelo Ball, who's out for a week with a left ankle sprain. Trey Mann's out with disc irritation. Of course, Brendan Miller in his second year now. He's out with a wrist injury. Grant Williams is out with a torn ACL. Yeah, they're dealing with it. Clippers got to take advantage. Nobody feels sorry for anybody in the NBA. You got injuries. They're still out for blood, and the Clippers are still without, of course, no Chris Dunn, and Nico Batum will be going up against his former team tonight in the Charlotte Hornets. He's out with illness. Coming up next, here on Clippers Countdown, we got La Murray of The Athletic. I'm Adam Moslin. Tip-off 27 minutes away right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Charlotte taking on the Hornets. Tip-off is just about, make it 25 minutes away. I'm Adam Moslin. Coming up, we'll get to an NBA out-of-town scoreboard. But first, joining us from Charlotte is La Murray of The Athletic. At La Murray, the NU is where you find him. La, thanks for doing this once again pregame.
Hey, thank you, man.
All right, let's talk about it. Was it a snub in your mind that Norman Powell didn't get selected as a reserve in the West?
I think it would have been a snub if no Clippers got selected at all, but James made it. And I think when you look at the All-Star field, someone was going to be disappointed when it came to Clippers. They had three guys who deserved it this year. I was bracing for them to not have any, and it's a huge – really, it's a credit to all three of those guys that James got it. Like, let's just be real. Like, James has had better seasons in his career where he's been named an All-Star, but he's going to be the guy that I think these coaches, and I got to hammer the point home, it's the coaches that vote for the reserves. The coaches have the most important vote when it comes to All-Star. Like, fans, media, players, they lump all three of those categories into one vote, with the fans getting the heavier weight, and they vote for the most obvious people who are going to make it. Like, you know, and that's probably why they give it to those three. It's like someone's going to – it's obvious who's going to be an All-Star, right, based off of that split. Like, the players and the media are there just to prevent the fans from going rogue. But, like, we know who's going to be All-Star starters. The real critical vote is who's the reserves. You know, 7 in the West, 7 in the East. And that's down to the 30 NBA head coaches, not the assistants, the head coaches. And, like, they're the ones who make the critical call. Like, they're the ones who kept James out the All-Star game. 2 years ago when he was leading the league in assists with the Philadelphia 76ers. So, I think these coaches, a lot of them, they just go and look at the standings and say who deserves to be in it. And a Clipper deserves to be in it. And James got the spot over his teammates. So Norm's deserving. It's unfortunate that he didn't make it. I don't think that he's going to be it's going to be tough for him to get in as a replacement. But all those guys, and even James will say, it's a credit to everybody. It's a credit to the wins that they have gotten together to have one guy go, and James is the guy representing them.
Do you think Norman Powell, at the worst, gets invited to the three-point contest this time around? Because I'm still baffled by the NBA not recognizing him last year in that area.
Yeah, I mean, last year there was a real push for it. Like, I can tell you because PR was like, yo, can you talk to Norm about shooting threes in Indiana? So that didn't work last year. I mean, I wrote in my power rankings when I was looking at who might be selected, not just for All-Star game, but for the entire All-Star weekend, who might be representatives. And I actually pitched Norman Powell for three-point shootout last week. And he's certainly deserving of being there. And we're just going to have to see. I mean, the NBA's priority is to get Caitlin Clark to shoot at that thing. So I don't even think they realize who's going to be there and who they want to be there. Norm's deserving. And we're just going to have to see about that.
All right. Let's get to your article, your latest from The Athletic. Quote, Kawhi Leonard understands why San Antonio boos him, shows Spurs he is still him. I thought you had an interesting conversation with him post-game after the Clippers 128-116 victory where he had 27 back in San Antonio the other night. And Kawhi was very measured and understanding of who he is as a player, why fans boo, what their role is in this, and how he still gets love from them anyways.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, just being in the building in San Antonio, it was only my second game, and it was the first time I got to see Kawhi Leonard play in San Antonio because the first time was when Kawhi was out for the entire season. So it was a real privilege to be there. There wasn't a lot of people traveling to be in San Antonio, so it was a pretty cool opportunity to not just see him play, but to see him play his best basketball. I think it's easier for Kawhi to look back on his era in San Antonio when he's still playing at the level that earned those boos and earned the love in the first place. And, the thing with Kawhi is he understands his place in NBA history. He understands his place with that fan base. And I got to say, man, like, if we're being real, I think Kawhi's holding back on how he's going to remember a lot about his time in San Antonio, both when things were great and the tumultuous ending. And I don't think he's going to really go into that until he's done playing. I'm just going to put that out there as someone who's been around Kawhi the last few years. Kawhi definitely has some strong feelings about San Antonio. He's got a lot of appreciation, but I also think he's, focused on hoping for now. But there's going to come a time where he has more to say about things. I know that sounds surprising, but I think the more you talk to Kawhi and realize he's not just what the perception is, he has a lot to offer about perspective. Yeah. And a version of that perspective is certainly how he played and how he's like, hey, I mean, look, the fan base is going to boo me because I have a different jersey on, but also I'm still that guy. So, he's earned that.
And I love the smile and laugh he gave you when you asked him what your favorite part was of being back in San Antonio. He was like, being able to play basketball again.
Yeah, that was more for me than him. And he knows that.
All right. Do you think if that game's close and they don't go on that 23 run late in the fourth quarter, he ends up getting to 30 minutes?
I don't think so. He came out of that game for a reason in the fourth quarter. It was 4 minutes left, and Amir got in. That limit is a hard limit at 28. I know he went over it slightly, but I think everyone knows where Kawhi's at. The minutes, the substitution patterns, it's all in the back of T. Lue's mind. I think that's the most challenging part of T. Lue getting through this part of the season and integrating Kawhi. It's I think it's a lot easier to coach a team when you're not reminded by the trainer about the minutes of certain guys playing. And we've seen that a lot, not just this year, but, even 2 years ago. I was reminded that Kawhi had a comeback here in Charlotte where he had to hit a go-ahead jumper, a game winner.
He said, I'm back.
Against a feisty Charlotte Hornets team, right? Paul and Kawhi came back that same day in December of 2022. It's hard. And so we're seeing new things every single game. Like tonight's going to be Kawhi's 10th game. Who knows what we're going to see tonight. But it's been something different almost every game. I didn't fit it in the article because I wanted that story to get up on time. I didn't want to research everything. I mean, you've seen it, though. I mean, it's like he's dunking this game. He's hitting mid-range shots this game.
Over Wemby.
Man, I mean, the way he was getting to his shots, it was everything. He played a full game. He started the game defensively on Chris Paul. He was, the passing, the assists, like he was throwing behind the back passes, bounce passes in traffic. He was doing it all. And I mean, he's playing these fourth quarters. He's outrunning Wemby, to finish dunks, to finish fast breaks, like to catch full court advanced passes from James Harden. That's the thing with Kawhi. It's like this dude, he plays basketball in a way that we can all really appreciate because it's rare. Like there's not a lot of guys in this league that affect the game in 4-5 different ways the way he's able to do it. He's not here to be a decoy. He's not here for charity. He's here to play at a high level, consummate to what he's being paid to do. And if he can do that multiple times a week, then yeah, this Clippers team is going to continue to ascend.
Truly a flawless player out there. Because people are talking about it in the chat, Obi Toppin's name is being thrown around. Apparently he's being shot by the Indiana Pacers. Have you picked up on any Clippers rumors over the past couple of days or zeroed in on any guys that they could be looking at?
Man, the short answer is I can't wait for a week from today. Like, this is my least. I mean, my thing with trades is it's like you're playing a video game. Any one of these guys with a tradable contract you consider, and it's like Obi Toppin is not. Again, it's a power forward, so I'm not super. I'm not going to get into it with the power forward parts things. Like Obi positionally is a player that the Clippers don't really have a guy who looks like him. When you throw him on the floor, what are you expecting him to do? This is a defense-led team that is trying to figure their offense out. And then, I mean, when the team had Rocco and Marcus Morris on it, then yes, Obi Toppin looks like a pretty good alternative to those kinds of players. On this team, like, where are you playing him? Obi's not a guy who you would want as a small ball 5, for instance. If he was, Indiana would absolutely not be trading for dudes like Thomas Bryant. You know what I mean? Like, Obi's best traits are he is a really decent jump shooter for his position. He runs the floor extremely well and finishes, especially when he has a head of steam. And that's pretty much it. Like, Obi plays hard, but I mean, he's not a difference maker defensively, and he's not the most versatile player. He's not a guy who's that kind of a ball handler, and he's not necessarily a rim protector. So, I mean, I'm not going to get super excited about Obi Toppin or John Collins or a lot of guys. And I'm going to keep that same energy when we had the trade deadline Thursday and a game against the Indiana Pacers that night. So we'll see.
He is Law Murray of The Athletic. Follow him at Law Murray, the NU. Again, read his latest. Kawhi Leonard understands why San Antonio boos him. Shows Spurs he is still him. He's with The Athletic. Law, thanks for doing this here on the pregame show once again.
And thank you. And congratulations on your promos. And enjoy the game, man.
Coming up next, we'll get to an NBA out-of-town scoreboard. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. They're in Charlotte, taking on the Hornets. Clippers in Charlotte taking on the Hornets. Tip-off is 12 minutes away. I'm Adam Osland, and this is Clippers Countdown. Still to come, we're going back to Carlo Jimenez. But first, let's get to your drive around the league. It's brought to you by Toyota's electrified lineup, including hybrids, plug-in hybrids, all electrics, and even fuel cell electric vehicles. So you can choose exactly the type you need for your lifestyle. We make it easy. Obviously, this is the first game or one of two games tipping off first in the association tonight. Coming up a little bit later, the Golden State Warriors taking on the Suns in San Francisco after their big victory over the OKC Thunder. Spurs hosting the Milwaukee Bucks. Pelicans will see the 33-15 Boston Celtics. And the Raptors host the Bulls in Toronto, where the Clippers will be on Sunday. Oh, one more for you. Denver in Philadelphia. Taking on, well, I don't know who's going to be available in that one. I'm guessing Embiid is still out, so I don't think their fans are going to chant, "Where's Embiid at?" or anything like that, like Denver fans did recently when the Sixers were visiting on the road in the Rocky Mountains. All right, coming up next, we got Carlo Jimenez as we're getting set for the Clippers in Charlotte taking on the Hornets. Tip-off 10 minutes away. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers and Hornets from Charlotte. Tip-off 7 minutes away. Welcome back. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Countdown. Coming up, we'll get to your keys to victory. But first, back out to your radio voice of the Clippers and Carlo Jimenez. Hey, Carlo, I got a question for you. Who's playing tonight for the Charlotte Hornets?
Oh, Adam, do I have answers for you? Because I just got handed this beautiful sheet of paper.
We starting lineups.
Gonna tell, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Do you want who's playing or who's not playing? What do you want?
I don't know. Which has
list.
more side?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I guess 10 guys playing, 8 guys out. So
all right.
Your pick.
Give me the 10 guys playing because I talked about the guys that are out.
It might be 11. It might be 11 guys playing.
Musa?
Musa's playing.
Hey.
Musa's playing. Coming off the bench today, Miles Bridges is playing. Vasa Micic, EuroLeague MVP, is playing. Nick Smith Jr., Taj Gibson, who, yes, still plays in the NBA. Josh Okogie, who was traded over for Phoenix, is playing. Seth Curry is getting some minutes today.
Let's go.
Daquan Jeffries is playing. Isaiah Wong, who played with Jordan Miller at Miami, is playing. Josh Green, who didn't play last game, is playing today. And KJ Simpson might play, but that's it.
Who he play for, Charles Barkley? Who he play for? All right, back to the Clippers here. My player to watch, I'm going with Norman Powell. He might be even on more of a revenge tour right now because he was snubbed yesterday for the All-Star reserves. Who do you got, Carlo?
I like that pick, Adam. And you know what? Watching that guy shoot around today, I'm doubling down. I'm sorry. I'm doing it. I'm doubling down.
Wait, what?
I'm
What?
doubling down.
Is this legal?
It is legal. It is legal because we're on East Coast time. And when you're on East Coast time, it's like, less laws. Kind of like when you're over the seas and they say like, oh, no tax. Like that's where we're at right now.
Okay, offshore pick by
Offshore
Carlo
pick.
Jimenez.
Give me Norman Powell.
I just think he's got something to prove. He feels like he got snubbed. I think a lot of Clipper fans probably feel the same way. And so he's going to come into this game looking to be aggressive. Do not be surprised. We see him shoot that little layup on the first play. I'm surprised if he dunks it. I think we're going to see a dunk on that first play.
I mean, the blow-by he had on Wemby for the two-handed dunk in the second half the other night was special.
Man, you feel for the guy because I'm not sure what more he could have done.
This was his best chance to make an all-star team right now because next year, God willing, Kawhi is healthier. Norm's not putting up the same numbers all year long. This was his big opportunity. And like you said earlier, he could still be voted in as a reserve if there's a guy who's out. Anthony Davis is dealing with an injury right now. Obviously, there's one guy in the West that he could take the spot of. We'll see.
Yeah, agreed. And look, no Kyrie, no Luka this year because of injuries. I just felt like maybe the door was open for Norman Powell, and he probably feels the same way, and I think he's going to show us that with his play. I'm excited to watch Norman Powell tonight as the Clippers look to come away with another win over Charlotte. They've won 12 in a row. See if they can make it 13, Adam. See if they can make it 13.
Let's go. Carlo Jimenez on the call. Tip off 5 minutes away from Charlotte. Clippers and Hornets. Up next, we'll get your keys to victory right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers and Charlotte taking on the Hornets. Tip off just moments away. Let's get to your keys to victory. This game is going to test the Clippers. The Charlotte Hornets are 12-32, and they're missing a bunch of their top guys in this ball game. They're calling in the reserves, the backups, the G Leaguers. The Clippers are going to see players that they don't have much when it comes to a scouting report on. they have to look themselves in the mirror and say, we're going to play a Clippers brand of basketball tonight, regardless of who lines up across from us. That's the way this game is going to be won. No letdown, no trap game. Clippers fully focused in Charlotte. That's where it needs to be. And oh yeah, take care of the basketball. That's a big thing. When you give young teams life or a team looking for any momentum, it usually comes in the form of turnovers. Do not let it happen tonight, Clippers. Here we go. It's Carlo Jimenez on the call. Clippers, Hornets from Charlotte. They're taking each other on in the Spectrum Center. And Carlo Jimenez has you for tip-off next right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network.